Cinema Creeper. A few years ago I had to travel to another town alone. When I arrived, I checked myself in the hotel and went on my business. Later in the evening I was free. Being in a place I visit for the first time, I decided to look around, maybe shop a little. Staying in the hotel room seemed so boring. I went to a mall, and since I had nothing better to do, I decided to see a movie at the cinema there. I checked what movies they show at the time and chose one which starts in about half an hour. After I bought a ticket, I had to kill the time, so I took an ice cream and sat at a table in the common place. At one of the other tables was sitting a guy. I didn't pay attention to him and went on eating my ice cream. Suddenly, this guy starts talking to me. It was something about my beautiful eyes. I thanked him and continued to mind my own business. He offered me to join him at his table, but I politely refused. I thought the conversation was over, but it seems like he was nowhere near such thought. He continued talking to me like we were old friends. I tried to ignore him first, but I felt it's not right and I should be more polite. Big mistake. He started asking me all kinds of questions and I was dumb enough to answer him. I told him that I was not from here. He said he's also just visiting this town, which now when I think about it, sounds like a lie to make me feel more related to him. He said he saw me looking at the movie posters and asked me what movie I was going to watch. Of course, silly me, I told him. I didn't really think it would do any harm. Soon enough, his questions started to bother me more and more. I finished my ice cream as fast as I could and made some excuse and left. There was still a lot of time until the movie starts, so I decided to linger in the shops, hoping that the guy will finish his meal and leave before I get back. When I returned, there was no trace of him. Relieved, I went in front of the cinema, waiting the last couple of minutes before they opened the entrance. Just when they opened and people started getting in, guess who came out of nowhere? This guy. He immediately attached himself to me and started talking casually about the movie we are about to watch. I was already extremely uncomfortable. But I cannot forbid someone to watch a movie. Technically, he didn't do anything wrong, even if he clearly bought the ticket just because I told him I'm going to watch it. We entered, him following me, and I started looking for my seat, eager to get rid of him. Then he said something which made me shiver. He casually pointed toward a row and said, "There are our seats." My seat number was exactly where he was showing me. I never mentioned it to him. He not only bought the ticket for the same movie, but he also asked which one was my seat and took the adjacent seat. I have no idea why the cashier would give that information. Maybe he lied to her that he's my friend or even boyfriend. I froze at the beginning of the row and calmly said, "Go ahead." He continued towards the seats, but I didn't follow him. I sat right there, at the very last seat of the row, close to the exit. There were not many people in the cinema, so there was a small chance that I took someone else's place. Luckily, he didn't move. Maybe he finally realized that it's not going to happen. At the end of the movie, I bolted out, scared that he might follow me. I haven't seen him ever since. Movie theater stalker. I worked at a small-town movie theater for a few years during community college. Creepy guys weren't common, but they definitively weren't rare. I had one in particular who clung on to me. It started when the first time he came into the movie theater. I took his ticket order, then his food order, and then gave him his total. The entire time, he was just intensely glaring at me. When he handed me his money, he grabbed the back of my hand and said, "Oh, I like your skin." Confused and trying to avoid confrontation, I said, "Thanks, I got it for Christmas." Hoping sarcasm would deflect him. Didn't work. For the next year, he came in about every 2 months, and regardless of how long my line was of customers, he would wait in my line. Every single time, he started to get more aggressive once he realized I was avoiding him. I was behind the counter one day stocking something. I wasn't alone, but to the customer's view I was. My co-workers were in the storage room right behind me. Door opened so they could hear me, and he comes running down the hallway straight towards me. Thankfully, my 6-foot-tall co-worker came out from the storage room and he instantly stopped. There were plenty of other things he did. Followed me to theaters, tried to follow me to the bathroom. and he even tried to follow me upstairs to the projection room once, but the creepiest thing was when he waited for me in his car. I don't know if you know, but when you decide to come to the 10:30 showing of whatever shit movie is out, theater employees have to stay till it's over. I got out of work around 1 a.m. and started to walk to my car. I hear the engine of a car already running, and I notice the old stalker just sitting in his car, smiling at me. I hear the door open to his car and see him beeline for me. I ran the fastest I have ever ran to my car and locked the doors. Noticing he was beat, he walked back to his car, giving me the death stare the entire tone. Let's not meet. Creepy guy at the movie theater. Let's not meet. It was a pretty average day. I met up with some friends, played a few games, and basically just screwed around. My girlfriend and I had made plans to go see a movie that night, which was the weekly norm for us. We are both avid moviegoers, so any chance to hang out and do what we loved was always fun. This particular night was the release of John Wick 3, and both of us were Keanu superfans. Suffice to say, we were really excited. I purchased the tickets in advance, in case the theater was full. We showed up, my GF bought the snacks as usual, and we went into the theater. It was decently crowded, as expected on an opening night. We went and found seats in the back. In case things became a little dull and we decided to enjoy each other's company per se, but we were surprised to find a thin, sickly-looking man sitting further down the row. We didn't take notice of him for a while as he just seemed normal and tried to enjoy the movie. About halfway through, I needed to use the restroom. I excused myself and told my girlfriend I'd be back in a few minutes. As I walked down the stairs, I noticed on the opposite side of the room that he was making his way down the stairs as well. Again, this didn't strike me as odd. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt and just assumed he needed to use the restroom too, or get popcorn or something. I went into the bathroom and did my business. But as I walked out, I noticed him waiting at the exit. As I passed, I heard him say, "Your friend is pretty, can I have her?" I did a double take and said, what? He made eye contact and replied, "She is beautiful. How much do you want for her?" I very forcefully told him that she was not for sale and not property you could just offer someone to buy. I then told him to stay away from us or I would call the police. He told me that he would wait near the exit, in case I changed my mind. I returned back to my seat, but my GF could immediately tell something was wrong based off the way I looked. I told her that the guy who sat near us earlier was just being creepy, but I didn't tell her what he said because I didn't want to upset her. The movie ended, and as we got up I remembered what the creep had said about waiting near the exit. I asked one of the staff members if they had seen the guy wandering around based off my description, but they hadn't. My girlfriend then knew something was up, so I told her about what he had said. We both decided that it was best to just try and get to my car, so we made our way out of a side exit and made our way to the parking lot. About halfway to our car I heard a voice yell, "Hey, wait up." I glanced around and saw the same man running at us. He had something in his hand but I couldn't make out what it was. I told my GF to run and we both sprinted for the car. I unlocked it, and we hopped in. The guy caught up and tried to force his way in, but by that time I had already locked the car. My girlfriend had already started dialing the police and I started to back my way out of the parking lot. We drove for a minute before hearing police sirens. 2 squad cars pulled up. One went in the direction of the man as another officer stopped to talk with us more about the situation and what happened. The guy was eventually caught. He was holding a screwdriver and admitted to the officer that he planned on attacking me and my girlfriend. The night was a huge wake-up call to us both, and we saw that the world isn't all perfect. So creepy guy from the movie theater that tried to attack me and my girlfriend, let's not meet ever again.